Hello and welcome to this week's We Create EDU. We have a special guest, T. Michael Martin, with us, and we're going to talk about storytelling and different things in YouTube. I'm Jacqueline. I run a channel called SciJoy, which is a hands-on science channel, and I'm going to pass it down the line to Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I have a YouTube channel called Developmental Enthusiast, where I talk about things related to child psychology, child development, brain development, those kinds of things. And I will pass it down the line to Mike.
Hello, I am T. Michael Martin, but please, for the love of all things good and yummy, call me Mike. I am a YouTuber. I'm also a young adult novelist. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person with brown hair and glasses who ever became a YouTuber and a young adult novelist. That's a joke. And I will pass it along to Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I have a channel called Ashleyness Vlogs about being a creative person, and I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, audio engineer, and I do lots of things. So I like to talk about things that I'm interested in that other people are making, things that I'm making, and how that whole process works. And I will pass it along to Liz.
Hi, my name is Liz. I have two channels. One is High-Waisted Pantaloons, which is sort of just my vlog channel, and I actually just started a collab channel with a girl from England, and her name is Zainab, and we basically write each other pen pal letters over the internet, and we've had a few people, one of which is actually Maya, join us on that channel as well, so I will pass it over to Maya.
Hi. So my name is Maya, and I vlog on the collab channel We Are St. Elmo's Fire, which is where my friends and I vlog about our post-grad life experiences.
Very cool. Is that everybody? That's everybody. All right. So we just wanted to kind of dive in and ask Mike some questions, and we'll just kind of see where the conversation takes us today. So Mike, we're really curious about how you went about starting your YouTube channels. What was the inspiration behind them? When did you start the YouTube channels? And I know you've got your own personal one, and then you also have How to Adult. So if you could talk about how that all came to be, that'd be great.
Sure, yeah, that's something I didn't mention when I was introducing myself, was that I do have two channels. The T. Mike Martin channel is a smaller channel for me. It's my vlog channel. And I started that in November of 2012, I believe. And I really did that because I was super duper lonely. And I had just moved to a town in West Virginia where I really didn't know anybody. And I just wanted to make new friends. I couldn't figure out how to make new friends as an adult, and so I thought, well, I really love YouTubers, so maybe I can become friends with them through making my own videos, through just making friends on the internet. And I really loved the Vlogbrothers and Elmify, and eventually, of course, I got to work with them, which is pretty awesome. But the first video I ever made was a Thoughts from Places video, and the Thoughts from Places format is something that John Green created. And the first night I put up my first video, he retweeted it and said that was very, very good. And that was enough encouragement to keep me going, you know, even though I didn't really have a big audience or anything. I was just so thrilled by that. And after doing that for a couple months, Elmify, Emma Mills, my co-host on How to Adult, we had become friends. And I happened to mention to her in an email about 6 months into doing YouTube videos that I was thinking about going to LA to be a filmmaker because that's what my degree is in. But if John or Hank offered me a job taking out the trash, I would take that job.
Wouldn't we all?
Sign me up.
And they said, or Emma said rather, well, you know, it's funny you should mention that because I have this idea. I don't really know what it is yet, but it's something about like life skills, and I was thinking about pitching it to John and Hank. And she said, "Would you want to be kind of the Michael or Rhonda behind-the-scenes guy on that?" And I was like, "Yes!" Exclamation! 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 And so VidCon 2013 was the first time I met John and Hank, and about a month after that, they signed up to be the producers of the show, and that is the story.
Awesome. How do you think your channels have kind of changed over time? I know you said that your vlog channel is kind of separate, and you update it maybe less frequently, but have you found that like your core audience has changed or your mission of your channels has changed at all?
Well, oh gosh, yeah, the vlog channel has definitely changed in its mission because I'm really lucky in that like now I have now I have friends, and so I still make new friends on the internet, but like I've made some awesome friends, including people on this call on the internet, and so like I don't update it as frequently because it's kind of led me to this completely unexpected semi-professional life as a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
How to Adult has, I would say it's changed a bit over time. I can't really talk about it too much, but it's going to be changing again, really probably as dramatically as it ever has soon, in a good way, in a really good way. I think the channel is going to get a lot better in the next, like sometime over the summer, a big change could happen. Sorry to be obnoxiously obtuse.
I'm guessing you can't talk about it.
But you know, when we started How to Adult, like originally we were doing every week, and then it just got unsustainable for me because we kind of operate as a satellite production for John and Hank. Like we don't have a set, like we don't have the resources they have for something like Crash Course. So we do every other week now, but the show's going to go back to every week if things go according to plan, and it's actually going to be going to twice a week.
Whoa.
Hopefully by the end of the summer. So that's probably the biggest change.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how what that change is. I'm super curious now.
Sorry.
It's all right. I understand how these things go. Anybody else want to jump in? Feel free.
So, Mike, what do you consider your job then? Like, what is your main career? Or, like, are you more YouTuber or writer? Not you have to pick one, but like if you you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I consider myself kind of a professional geeky person.
That's cool. That's cool.
Professional geek, that works.
Yeah, like my email signature says novelist, YouTuber, nerd.
Yes.
And that's kind of everything is an extension. Like if I had to like put it in the simplest sense, I feel like I consider myself to be in the happiness business. Like even though I write scary things sometimes, like they're very hopeful. And everything with How to Adults and even with my blog channel, it's about trying to make people feel less alone or you know, give them someone to who knows that they're empathized with. Like the proudest I am of any of the videos on our How to Adult channel is a video called "What If Depression Followed You Online?"
It's a great video.
And so, thank you very much. I was really proud of that. That was the longest I've ever spent on the video. So yeah, that's really what I consider myself to be in, is the happiness business, and I am going to be trying to break into the film industry as well, and it's kind of an extension of that.
Very cool. Well, I just have to gush for a minute and say that I think, I don't know if you know this or not, but you're kind of the reason that I got into, not entirely the reason, but one of the main reasons I got into the YouTube thing to begin with, because I believe you and I were bantering back and forth on Twitter about The End Games, which is Mike's first book. Go buy it. It's really good. And in the back and forth, I was like, would you maybe want to talk to me? I don't know, and you were like, yeah, sure, let's do a hangout. And I was like, okay. I was such a freak. But you were kind enough to take time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about YouTube, and I had all kinds of bizarre questions because I was just getting started and just wanted to know more about the YouTube world. And so thank you for giving your time, because you showed what the YouTube community can really be like, and as a result of that, I've found all of these awesome people. I'm pointing to the screen.
Well, all I can say is, mwah, you're very welcome.
So how would you say all your different hats you wear merged together? Because you have a film background, you're a great storyteller. Like, how do you bring that into making the best YouTube videos that you make, like the really good content?
The best ideas I have for books, movies because my degree is in screenwriting, or YouTube videos are the ideas when I go, somebody else had to do this. Like, I can't be the first person to be doing this. Like the depression video where depression was using social media to talk with you. When I got that idea, I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience where you're like, this is too fully formed for it to be an imaginative thought. Like, I must have seen this somewhere and I'm remembering it. So that's really what it is. Like, with Mr. Fahrenheit, I can't go into spoilers, but there's a plot twist halfway through the story.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I know, and I'm not going to say it. But, like, I was drifting off to sleep, and I got the plot twist, and I sat up, and my wife can testify that I went, holy crap. Like, and I just couldn't believe my luck. So anytime I have an idea where I can't believe my luck, I know that it's going to be a special something. Not every video is going to be something, excuse me, that is like, oh my gosh, I'm getting choked up, everybody. No, not every video is going to be something that I'm like, you know, I want to like put on my tombstone or something. Some videos are just like, well, we should do a Q&A video. We haven't done one in a while. Or, you know, what about a second job interview video? Like, I'm proud of those videos, but I know that they're not something that other people couldn't have done as well or better. You know, but there are occasionally things I make where I'm like, I was the right person for this, and I feel really proud of it.
How much do you have to research, like, or does it depend on the topic?
Yeah, it depends on the topic. Like for the depression video, for instance, like I consulted with 2 different therapists that I happen to know. And I also like did a lot of research on the National Institute for Mental Health website, I believe, was a big source, in Psychology Today magazine. For some videos, people are just like, how do you make friends? And I'm like, how did I make friends? And that's easier.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute myself for a second while I hawk up the lining of my throat. Excuse me 1 second. And we're back.
Yay!
Yeah, so does that answer the question?
Yeah, so it depends on how much you know the topic already versus, you know.
It totally does. And occasionally I've made mistakes. The one, I think it was the second video I ever hosted by myself was the How to Change a Spare Tire video. And that video no longer lives on the channel because I took it down. It was a good video, but when I was changing the tire, I put my legs under the vehicle, which is not something you should do. So we're going to have to reshoot that at some point. Yeah.
Betty from Articulations would like to know if you're going to have some more guests on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really love having guest hosts. It's a lot of fun. 2 years ago, I made a VidCon How to Adult video. I don't know if you guys saw that, where like I interviewed the ASAP Science guys and one of the Fine brothers, and it was really cool. And I'm going to try to do that again this year to do a VidCon How to Adult video.
Nice.
Cool.
Are you going to do more? You did magic tricks, I think, last year at VidCon.
Oh, God.
Are you going to do some more this year?
Yes, absolutely.
What?
I've got tons of magic. Oh, my gosh. Like, I'm so tempted to grab a magic trick and be like, hey, guys, watch this. But I won't do that.
Do you have advice about forming communities and building communities around your content and your channel?
Well, oh gosh, you know, for me, like I went through a path that is not necessarily typical, in that like 9 months after I put up my first video, John and Hank were like, yeah, we want to make this show with you. And in retrospect, like it felt like a really long time, but in retrospect, I was really lucky. But what I can say is that when you want to build an audience, in retrospect, like you should find out who has the audience you want already. So, like, if I were going back in time, I would do what I did, but I would do more of it. Like I I made I did collaborative videos or had people give shout-outs, like Emma did, Brierly Bishop did, John did, but I never asked him to do that. He just did it like because he really liked the Endgames, my first book. So I would say become a part of the community that is like similar to the community you want to build, and don't be cynical about it. Like, but go into it and say like, how can I serve this community? How can I make it a little bit better in a unique way? I just say like when people ask about networking that you have to be useful, grateful, and kind, and then you can ask for something.
Yep.
You know? It's difficult because like if you went up to like let's say Hank and said, "Hey Hank, will you produce my channel?" He would say no because you have to get some legitimacy in their eyes, which is not impossible, but it's just, you have to think, how can I be useful to this person? Because people are busy and they need help too.
Great advice.
So what was the idea that Emma had, like, at its inception for How to Adult?
It was, I think it was originally called Life Smarts, which I really liked because it sounded like something Charlie Brown would say. Like, not just like you'll have smarts about life, but like, ow, life smarts. You know, that,
I like it.
Yeah. And then at one point it was called, this is terrible, I'm really ashamed that I came up with this. It was called Life Support. It didn't occur to me that that was a really grim title. But we went through a lot of titles, and we came up with How to Adult. But originally the premise of the show was, like, how do you wash a shirt with white stripes? And it was How to Adult, but it wasn't. It was more I would say, like, if there's a difference between what it became and what it originally was, it was originally like very, very practical and not kind of more inspirational as well, which is something we've tried to bring in. Even in very practical videos, we try to have some kind of emotional element to it.
And how much of the content is, like, from commenters, I guess? Like, do you get a fair amount of ideas from commenters?
Yes, and there's actually ideas that I would really like to do, but I can't find anybody to write them for me, and I really don't feel qualified to write them myself. Like, I would like to do one about what do you do when a loved one dies, like both emotionally and practically, what happens after that, but I don't know who can write it for me. So if you know any like grief counselors or anything, please let me know, because I would love to do that video. I think it's really important. And of course, every Q&A video is entirely viewer-driven. And I think I mentioned depression at some point before the actual depression video, and people were kind of asking for that. So I waited until I found a unique way to approach it and then did it. Sometimes people ask if Emma and I are a couple, and I'm always like, watch every video and understand no.
Going off of that, what's it like having two hosts for How to Adult?
It's really good. Like, I am not ashamed to say that I was like so insecure when we started it, and I can't even watch like the first video I hosted because it's just like, oh, baby pictures, you know. But I think Emma and I have like gotten like as our friendship has grown, and we were already friends when we started, but we've become really much closer over time. I think that we've gotten a really good rapport and like timing with each other. Like, I get her sense of humor, she gets mine. So I really like it. I wouldn't want to do the show alone. That would be sad.
He says, talking to primarily creators who work alone.
No, I mean, having done it, having had the experience, it's like I would know. I was like, oh, remember when Emma, and then somebody would walk by playing a violin in the background.
But we all work together too.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hence this channel.
Yes.
So is there anything that you particularly worked on from your first few videos to now to become a better presenter or host?
Yeah, you know what? I used to script every single word, like even the jokes. But what I realized over time, and I think this is probably something a lot of people realize, is that sometimes I'll write something, and if you read it, it would be really funny. But when I say it, I sound like a jerk. It's like, what is that? Look at that face. Oh, no. But there's just something about it that doesn't quite translate. So I don't script every word anymore. I kind of have a bullet point script, and most of the jokes that I make, like pretty much all the jokes I made after the first 10 times or something that I hosted by myself were just made up in the moment. And I think it does come across. Hank recently told me that I was great on camera, and that really meant a lot to me.
Speaking of like jokes, when you're doing something that's so informational, it's very easy to get bogged down in all of that information. Do you have like a pacing to the amount of jokes that you fit in? Because I think you guys do a really good job of that, but like, would you have like a rule for other creators to maybe kind of follow, or guidelines?
I would say that the humor kind of has to come out of the moment, and it has to come out of the kind of information itself. Like, I made some stupid joke or series of jokes recently where, like, I was talking about how I would be nervous if I had to talk to Silicon Valley people. I said, like, my heart would be a Twitter. It would be like my stomach was in a Tumblr. I would shout Yahoo. You know, like all this stupid stuff. It was funny to me anyway. But I think it has to come out of the content itself. And as long as it doesn't step on the content or the information, then you're good.
Yeah, and puns are always.
Oh, puns.
Love me some good puns.
Can't go wrong with puns.
It's really true. So one of the questions that I have for you, since you are kind of living in some multiple worlds here, you've got like your YouTuber world and your author world. I'm wondering how you go about balancing all the things. I've got sort of a similar thing where I'm like, I'm doing this thing over here and this thing over here, and they're kind of related, but not always directly. And so when people ask me, you know, who are you and what do you do? I'm like, okay, which persona am I going to pick today?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you balance all of that, and then have you found it beneficial or difficult to kind of have your fingers in multiple worlds or feet in whatever the... I'm so bad at metaphors, guys.
I got it. I totally get it. I have my feet in multiple pies.
Yes, something like that. There you go.
No, for me, like, I'm pretty lucky. How to Adult is funded, so I don't have to do everything anymore. For the first probably 60 episodes, I did pretty much everything. Like, I wrote every episode. I hosted. If I didn't host, I was still directing, editing, posting, doing social media. But really, at this point, I co-write all the scripts rather than just writing them, and I only edit the odd video every once in a while.
Okay.
So that's been really helpful. But before that, it was really about structuring my time. So, like, I get up at 5:30. I have a dog, and I have to get up at 5:30 so he doesn't leave a mess. And I take him outside, and then, like, I read and do book stuff until 7, and then I feed him and take him out again. And then basically the morning is all book stuff, and then the afternoon is either movie stuff because I'm working on screenplays or YouTube stuff. So really dividing has been helpful. When I had another job, I was making educational videos for a nonprofit organization for a while, and that was hard, but I was going through a kind of fortuitous period of insomnia where I couldn't sleep past 2 a.m., so I just worked there from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., and they let me do that.
Oh, cool.
They let me just work those hours as long as I got my stuff done. And from there, I still did, like, morning is book stuff, afternoon, when I'm kind of waning a little bit, is other stuff.
And do you find that it's helpful to have, you know, the connections in those different worlds, even though they're more overlapping now than I think they maybe used to be, but how have you kind of managed that? And if somebody off the street asks you, oh, what do you do for a living? Like, what's your default answer? How do you explain I'm a YouTuber, but I'm also an author, and I also do this other, you know, how do you kind of package that?
I scare and then comfort people. No, I usually just tell people, like, I make educational videos.
Okay.
or I just say I make educational videos and I write books for teenagers. Even though like 51% of my readers are adults, I always say they're for teenagers.
Nice. Okay.
Do you have advice for any YouTubers that are wearing all the hats right now? Because I think that's pretty much all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, first of all, it's completely doable. I feel like I made it sound much harder than it is. It's just I was kind of burning out because we were making 1, sometimes 2 videos a week, and that was just too much. And our stuff that has to be like unimpeachable. Like the information really has to be solid because it's very little of it is kind of like opinion based. But wearing all the hats, like I think that you can set yourself up for success by figuring out what people want to know anyway. Like Google Trends can tell you that, Google keyword tools. Look at WikiHow. Like, what are the most popular WikiHow articles? Like that's something Hank taught us, is just look at the most popular articles on there and make videos about those topics because they're already getting a lot of Google traffic. And like if you Google, let me see if it still does it, stock market or how stock market works or something. Like we're on the front page of how to do laundry on Google, and on, of course, on like YouTube, we're the #1 result, and also the #1 result for stock market, and a couple other categories that are pretty competitive. Taxes, we're the #1 tax video, which is really funny because I had no idea what I was talking about when I made
That was so helpful.
Definitely. I have that saved just to refer to every April.
Well, my accountant wrote that script, and I added the ha-ha jokes.
Because accountant?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so like I would say set yourself up for success by figuring out what people want. Kind of do the basic things like make good thumbnails, good titles, good tags, because even though like we have support from John and Hank and they help fund the show, most of the success of the channel, and I say this with like complete gratitude to everything they've contributed, but I think they would agree that most of the channel's success is because of what Emma and I have done by ourselves, working in isolation. And that was just like figuring out a good schedule, like when do we upload, which Fridays at noon, how do we interact with people, like what's the #1. We have a lot of different social media, but the only one we really update is the Tumblr, and we have like 20,000 followers now because we felt like that's the most important audience for us, is like the teenage Tumblr audience.
The ones who are on the cliff of adulthood.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you started out, your audience started out coming from like John and Hank's group, and since then it has grown quite a bit. I know those people must have come from other places, so where have you found like additional people to come from?
Most of our traffic comes from YouTube search.
Okay.
It's like people finding the channel. Like Hank we haven't been promoted by the Vlog Brothers, and again, I don't say this with like any ingratitude at all, but like I think they promoted our Halloween video and our stress video last July. But other than that, like they haven't really promoted us, and we still get 200 to 400 new subscribers a day. And that mostly comes from YouTube search. Occasionally someone will help us, like Tyler Oakley helped us over the summer. He tweeted one of our videos, and we donated all of the ad revenue to the Trevor Project, which is a charity he's really passionate about. But mostly, yeah, it's just YouTube search, people finding it and becoming part of the community.
We got a couple of questions from people who are watching. The first one's an easy one, which is, there will be another How to Adult meetup, I presume, at VidCon.
There will be maybe a Mike meetup, but not an official How to Adult meetup, unfortunately. I don't know why, but they didn't have room for us this year, so I will be there, and they paid for me to go there, but they didn't have room for a How to Adult, so.
Okay.
So we'll get to see the magic tricks then?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm really sad I missed these magic tricks, so you gotta come through.
There were donuts too.
Yeah,
Donuts.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there were.
That was fun.
And I think that's where you met Thomas Frank,
Yes.
and you were on his podcast not too long ago, I think, right?
Yeah, I was, and he's hosted How to Adult and written a couple episodes for us. He's awesome.
Yeah.
We call around my house we call him Handsome Thomas. Awesome.
We have another question from American Adventure Survival Science. Hi, Brian. He says, I have a first draft of a novel written, but devote all my time to YouTube right now. I know I need to rewrite, but I don't know which to prioritize. Do you personally value one task over the other?
Well, I'm committed to How to Adult, and as long as the channel is under my control, like I take very seriously the commitment we've made to viewers to be there now every other week, but twice a month we have something really good for the viewers. But really my career is writing, and hopefully eventually writing movies. And I have to prioritize that because it's the one I can't outsource it. Like I can outsource someone writing How to Adult or editing the videos, but I can't outsource writing novels.
Mm-hmm. So hire where you can, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, you know, like it's about time management, but also energy management.
Right.
Rewriting is probably like it's not easy, but it's a little easier than writing. So maybe, you know, it's not an all or nothing. Like I always try to avoid dichotomous thinking because it's usually not entirely correct. So you probably have more time. Like even if it's like small chunks of time. My friend Carrie Ryan is a young adult novelist, and she used to write for 7 minutes a day because that was how long it took the pasta to boil. That she made in the evening.
That's awesome.
There you
And now
go.
she, you know, it's her job.
Yeah.
And she had pasta every day.
Right.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
It's a writing question. I was just wondering, what do you use to write? Like, do you use a certain app or like program or?
I rotate between Scrivener, which is a writing app, and just Microsoft Word on the Mac.
Are you excited that Scrivener is gonna maybe have an iOS app actually out this year?
Yes, I am.
After
Oh my gosh!
many years of not.
Yeah, I check it. Like I check the App Store probably like once a month. Like, when's it coming? When's it coming? That's awesome.
It's in beta right now. They just they did alpha, and then they just started getting beta testers. So one can hope it's soon.
Yay! Nice. Oh, that would make life so much better.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
As a vlogger, people wouldn't really get upset if I kind of talked about the same subject more than once.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys keep like the topics that you have discussed in line so that like if you think, oh hey, we should talk about this, you can see, oh wait, because you don't want to have to go through all, you know, especially since you've been doing it for a few years, all of your videos and like check your search history. So like, what do you do to keep that?
To keep kind of things fresh and not repeating myself?
Yeah.
I would say that like How to Adult, it's much easier. I never know what to make a vlog about, honestly, because like I put everything into How to Adult, and I'm like, how many times can I say be nice to yourself? I know that sounds really terrible, but like sometimes I'm like, geez, I feel like people are gonna get so sick of me. But then I'm like, I'm the only person who's probably watched everything I've ever made.
16 times, well edited. Yeah.
My eyebrows, my God, my eyebrows move so much. Yeah.
Why does my face look like that?
But like user comments help a lot. And there are just so many things that I don't know how to do, and that kind of leads the way for How to Adult. Like I didn't know how to do my own. I kind of knew how to do my own taxes, but not enough to make a video about it by myself. Or I still want to do one about anxiety disorders, because we've done one about stress, which was kind of about anxiety, and we've done one about depression. But a lot of it is just getting very micro about things, and like because that helps, like it helps the viewers, but it also helps search results. And I know that sounds cynical, but I don't mean it that way. Like if you can get very specific on a topic, that really helps your traffic if you tag it properly.
Yeah. And do you keep like a list of episodes that you've done? Because I can't imagine you remember all of them.
I actually kind of remember most of them. Like, occasionally I'll make a joke and then I'm like, oh, dang it, I made that joke in the laundry video.
Yeah.
Like, Emma and I were talking and I was like, she said, I'm going to put a link and another link in the description. And I was like, hey, we should put up link from Nintendo and link from Rhett and Link. And then we were like, we did that in the laundry video.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
So we have another question here from Matt, who asks, what's a moment you learned from failure as a YouTuber and or writer?
Oh my gosh. You know what? As a writer, the example comes very quickly to mind. My first book, The End Games, we had so many, they're called blurbs, you know, those quotes from other authors that like praise the book on the jacket. We had so many of those that we had to stop taking them. Like we ran out of room on the jacket. Our first review from Booklist called the book the best zombie novel ever, like in young adult publishing. And then the next review from a magazine I won't name said, not even zombie fans will be able to finish this horrible, horrible book. And I felt like throwing up. I felt this weird sense of shame, and like literally, I just felt like I wanted to bow at the waist like an English butler and throw up. But after a while, I kind of realized like that person is just doing their job, and they don't hate me, even though it seems like they probably hate me. But it was like, they're doing their job, I have to do my job, and publishing is different than writing, and my job is to write the book, not to publish the book. I can't, like, if you guys read The Endgames or Mr. Fahrenheit and you didn't like it, I'm sad that I didn't do the job for you, but I did the job as well as I could have, and that was kind of what I learned from that experience. And also that I can read a bad review without throwing up, even though it feels like I might. A moment I learned from failure as a YouTuber, my second or third YouTube video was a video about the worst Christmas movies ever, rather than a list of the best Christmas movies ever. And it's one of those things where, like, it was funny when I wrote it, but I came off as such a jerk. And I took the video down within, like, a week. I was like, I hate that person. He's mean. And, like, why is he making fun of other people for doing their best? And, like, it was just, like, I really learned empathy to a greater degree from that. Luckily, almost no one watched it, so.
And then the chat, they're very excited about the possibility of the anxiety video, and someone said, would you ever make a video about how to find a good therapist if you haven't already made one?
Oh, watch What If Depression Followed You Online. We talk about how to find a therapist in that one.
Yeah, I see that Like Kristen is in the comments. She makes lots of really great mental health videos, so if you're watching this and looking for stuff, you should go check out her videos. Sorry, Kristen, I don't know your channel handle right off the top of my head, but just Google Like Kristen and I think you'll find her.
Or if you go to the chat, you can find it. I think it's a hyperlink, so you can just click on it and then subscribe. You said a while ago that you use like bullet points. Bless you. To do. Have you ever used a teleprompter?
Oh no, it's all like I have a laptop on my lap, or Emma has her iPad on her lap, and we hold them just off frame, so that we can look back down and be like, oh, taxes, forgot that word, blah blah blah. So it's record. If you watch the videos. Like, nobody would know this unless I said it, except for me and Emma, but if you watch the videos, our takes used to be a lot longer. Like, we used to have, each shot used to be a lot longer because we would read, like, a paragraph at a time, and now sometimes it's, like, one sentence, new shot, other sentence, new shot, because I've gotten less, like, concerned about it being too jumpy, because nobody really cares, you know.
It's a style people are used to.
Yeah. That's always the thing that concerns me, because I do like science videos, so I also don't really do opinion-y things. So I want to say, like, most accurate statements I can. So if I'm just trying to remember, like I'll go into post later and be like, wow, like even just switching those 2 words that completely messed everything up. So
Yeah.
You want a tip? You want a pro tip?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There is goodness to be found in the world of blurring the video and putting up the text as you're saying it. We do that a lot, and it's usually because we didn't want to memorize what we were saying.
I've definitely done that, and I've actually like held my phone and read just straight off it, and it was fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree with that.
And like as a viewer, we don't even think about it.
No.
Think about it like
it looks pretty.
yeah.
It looks pretty.
Yeah.
And Betty just said she's in the middle of building her own teleprompter. I just built one 2 weekends ago, and if you're going to use a teleprompter, the best app, I think, is called Prompt Smart. It actually listens to your voice and scrolls along with you, just to let you guys know.
Amazing.
It's like, it's $12, but I mean, to scroll along with your voice, I think it's worth it.
That's cool. I've got to. I should tell Dr. Carroll at. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you guys.
Oh, I just wanted to know what the name was. Sorry.
Prompt Smart.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I visited Dr. Carroll one time when they were filming Healthcare Triage, and he was complaining about how terrible his app for his teleprompter was. So I'll tell him about that.
It does. It did crash on me when I tried to use all its features at once, but that's really my only complaint, because it puts, like, you can have an indicator and it can highlight 3 lines and it can delete all the spaces like that you haven't used, and like I checked everything to work at once and it was like, it crashed.
How dare you have such high expectations of it?
But mostly I think it works really, really well.
Nice.
Let's see, what else? What other questions do folks have?
Do you and Emma don't live in the same state, or you do?
Oh, we do. We both live in Indianapolis, actually.
Oh, okay. You both live. Okay, I thought you lived in different states, and I was going to ask how you worked that out.
We just like fly each other in like every.
Originally, we did kind of think, like, well, maybe I'll just visit Emma, because she was living in Indianapolis already. It's a film every couple months, and we'll just batch shoot, like just shoot like 7 episodes at one time. But then I was like, I kind of want to get out of where I was living anyway, so I'll move to Indianapolis. And I've been here about 2.5 years, and I do like it, but I will be moving soon. So.
To go along with the super secret thing that you can't talk about, I'm suspecting.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. What is the catchphrase? Somebody?
What is the catchphrase?
Thanks, Patty. There actually is a catchphrase that we've come up with.
Is it what's the catchphrase?
No, it's not. And it's not. There is no catchphrase. But it's kind of something we've already said. So I'll leave it at that. We might have, like, we have our 100th episode coming up, so maybe we'll reveal it on the 100th episode.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yay.
Matt says it's a small enough audience here. We promise we won't spoil
Well, is anybody, Maya, I think you might have been in 2014 when we had the How to Adult panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we pretended to reveal the catchphrase and have everybody freak out. That was so funny.
Yeah. No, he actually revealed it at the panel, and I just know it, guys. I
was pretending when I said we were pretending.
Right.
So we'll all gang up on Maya at VidCon.
There you go.
Make her tell us.
Do you have any projects that you are working on that you can tell us that you would like to have people be a part of or go check out, like your book?
Yes, you should check out Mr. Fahrenheit.
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. You can promote it better than I can.
It's fine. I have it somewhere.
They're trying to turn Mr. Fahrenheit into a movie, so I'm meeting people about that next week.
Cool.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm working on my 3rd book right now. It's got a robot in it.
Always good.
Ooh, I just finished editing a book with a robot.
Nice.
Ooh. I edit audiobooks for a living. That's my
Oh.
gig. So
Oh, what was the book? Can you tell what the book was?
I don't think so. I mean,
okay.
probably like we just posted it today, so it won't even come out for like another month, I think. It takes place on the moon, and there's a scary android in it.
All right.
It was pretty cool.
Cool. I don't have any projects at the moment that are like public projects. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
That's all right.
You have, I know when your book came out and stuff, at VidCon when we met, you handed out cards and people could sign up, I think, for like an email list. Can people still do that to get updates on like what you're working on?
If you want updates, you can just email me directly at tmichaelmartinbooks@gmail, and I'll add you to a list.
Okay. So anyone in the comments or watching this later, that's what you can do.
This isn't related to YouTube exactly, but I was just curious, since Mr. Fahrenheit might have a movie down the line, how does that happen? Like, do you pitch these to like movie people, or do movie people come to you and be like, "Hey, I read your book, let's make it a movie"?
It's more the latter. Well, I don't know. Like, my agency sends the book out to different people.
Sure.
The way it's happened with Mr. Fahrenheit, the end games came kind of like heartbreakingly close a couple times. Mr. Fahrenheit has made it further in the process than the end games did. Where we are now is there's a producer who's like a really talented producer who made awesome movies that you guys have heard of, and he said, like, there are these two guys, they're like one of the best screenwriting teams in Hollywood right now. I want them to adapt it, but they'll probably say no, but we're just going to send it to them. And they were like, yes, we really like this, and we want to work on it as soon as possible.
Cool.
Yeah. So right now we're waiting to get a script in, and I'm so excited. They asked me if I wanted to write it, but I was like, only if I feel like nobody else can do it better than I would be able to. And these guys can do it better than I would be able to. So.
How does it feel, like, handing your baby off to somebody else to do that? Like, I would be terrified to do that personally, but...
I was scared, but then I read their work, and I was like, I can't believe these guys want to write my book. Like, I was so excited. Because they're really awesome. Really, really talented guys. Awesome. Cool.
So we're getting close to 8 o'clock, and I want to ask the chat for any final questions, and something we do at the end of our hangouts, especially since we missed our last one, is we do a channel check-in, and we kind of just go around and say like what everyone's been up to and if anybody needs help with anything. So we'll do that real quick while we're waiting for some final questions from the chat.
Cool.
So I guess I'll start real quick. My physics series is officially out,
Yay!
which is awesome. I'm so excited. So you can go check that out, and it's going along with the Arduino series, so you're learning like physics, and then you'll learn the sensors and how to like actually do physics projects. So I'm pretty excited about that. This has been a very, very long time in the making. I think that's the biggest thing. And then our next hangout for We Create EDU will be talking about VidCon, because I think a bunch of us are going, and we'll talk about meetups and just general tips and advice. So. Who would like to go next?
I'll say really quickly, I just subscribed to SciJoy. I can't wait to see more.
Yay!
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I can jump in. I don't have much to update. I've been a little delinquent on the YouTube lately, mostly because life is a thing. But I am hoping to get a video up. I'm in the final editing stages, and I need to send it to somebody to get their okay that I can post it. But I want to make sure that that's all on the up and up. But hopefully that will be up in the next day or so. So that'll be nice to get another one up. And then, a couple collabs potentially in the works, and chatting with people and trying to figure out if there are some ways we can mutually benefit one another. I'm saying this pointedly, looking at Maya. Hi, Maya.
Hi. I'm going to respond to it.
It's okay.
Life is a thing.
Life is a thing. No, it's good. Yeah, so a couple things like that in the works, but otherwise just kind of trying to put some stuff up occasionally. That's kind of where I am. So.
I guess I'll go next. Like I said at the top of this, I do have a second channel that I started that's collab channel that I'm super proud of.
Yay!
But we
You didn't tell us the name of it, Liz.
I know, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Okay. It is called Letters from Our Tree, and we, like right at the top, we got a really good response, but it's kind of like tapered off, so I'm trying to like remind people that it's still a thing that's there and that we haven't stopped and we're not going to stop anytime soon. However, I have kind of like slacked off on my podcast because life is a thing.
Life is a thing.
That's our catchphrase.
That's our catchphrase.
Catchphrase for the day.
And like staying consistent with my own channel, plus doing a video pretty much every other week on that channel, plus working a full-time job, plus being a mom of 2 kids. It's a lot of stuff. So the podcast is kind of but it'll come back eventually, and that's kind of where I am right now.
I just subscribed to Letters from Our Tree also.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm sorry I haven't watched. I watched the latest one that I really liked, but I got a little behind.
I'm super proud of it. Like as far as like I like my own channel because it's like, you know, my diary or whatever you
Right,
want.
like whatever you want to say.
I can say and do whatever I want, but this it's more concise and there's more of a format to it, and it's a really fun format to work with. And I'm finding my brain works better in a like decided format. So.
Yeah, I need to work like somewhere in between. Like I have to have a relative idea of what I want to talk about, or else it just goes all over the place and
yeah, because like with my vlog channel, I find like, okay, well I can talk about that, and I can talk about that, and I can talk about that, and there's like too many ideas on my head at once.
Right.
And it's just like pick one. Pick one.
I understand.
Ashley and Maya, you got anything going on?
I have not been on YouTube in a very long time, except for like this. This is my like. I'm glad to keep that connection here, but I've been focusing a lot on music this year, and I actually just got an email from a booking person for my band, so we're hopefully booking some shows in New York. So fingers crossed. We'll see. But yeah, we're called All Night Drivers, and we've made a like Tiny Desk contest video, so that's on YouTube. That was like February, but that was our big thing, and we've been rehearsing a lot. We've got like, I had been writing, I think in 2014 I did a songwriting group where I had to write a song a week, so I had a lot of songs from that, but so including like some of those, we've got like 10 or 12 songs fully arranged for the band, and that was all within the last 10 months or so. So it's a big. It feels good, but like I'm like sad to be away from YouTube, but I'm also working full time and doing all the things. So and Maya tagged me in a video like 2 months ago, and I promise I'm going to do it, Maya.
I didn't know rush on it.
I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I wanna, but yeah. Life is a thing.
Life is a thing.
Yeah, so
that's our catchphrase, I think.
Yes. We create EDU. Life is a thing.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 flyers this season, so those are almost done. Like one's thing for the summer, but it'll be less. So hopefully I'll have some time to like get things together and move forward with those things that I've had let slide a little bit. But yeah. Doing all the things all the time.
Okay, I guess that's me. I have been trying and struggling to write my Blogiversary video. My Blogiversary happened like 2 weeks ago, but I've been trying to come up with, well, the thing is that I have like 7 different ideas for how to approach it, and I just don't know which approach to do because I want to do all the things. And I recently graduated with my degree in video production, so I want to sort of incorporate. Yeah, that's a thing. And so I kind of want to incorporate like everything I've learned in that, and like lighting and shooting and animating and like all these After Effects stuff. So I just have to pick a path and go down it, and I haven't yet. So that's what I'm working on.
And how long? You said vlogiversary. How long have you been on?
4 years now.
4 years.
Right?
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
Very cool.
Well, we do have some questions from the chat. So, American Adventure Survival Science. He's going to be in Alaska during VidCon on like a boat, and so he's not going to get to hang out again. I think it was him and his girlfriend that brought the donuts last time. And he would like to know if you're going to do any other events in San Diego or Anaheim, or I guess I would like to know in general, are you going to like NerdCon Stories or any other things where people can find you?
Yes.
NerdCon Stories! It's amazing!
I am going to a thing that will be known at VidCon. It will be announced at VidCon, but I can't talk about it.
Sorry we asked all the hard questions.
I'm sorry, I'm not I can't tell you anything. Thank you for the donuts, and tell us Jen I said hi.
Oh.
And people are wondering, what YouTubers are you watching currently?
I've been watching Craig a lot, Wheezy Waiter.
Yeah.
I really love The Third Pew, Nathan Zed. Have you guys ever watched The Third Pew?
Oh, yeah.
I like him.
He's amazing.
He's so funny, and whenever I want to watch something that'll just like make me happy, like my puppy makes me happy, I watch Tyler Oakley.
That's a great description.
Yeah.
I love that.
Those are the main ones, I'd say.
How is your puppy?
Oh, he's so good. He just borrowed my phone and put up another photo on his Pug Philosophy Instagram. Instagram.com/pugphilosophy. So he's good. He's happy. He got his fix. I see there's something that says, "What's my favorite catchphrase to say?"
Yes.
There's a poster on the wall that says, "Adulthood isn't something that happens to you, it's something you make." And I like that one. That was kind of the catchphrase in the Depression video.
It's a good one.
So I think we're going to be wrapping it up, and we are so happy that you could come on and you talk to us and tell us all your pro tips. Our next hangout is going to be on the 15th, I believe. It's Wednesday. We're going to talk about VidCon, and I've had a stockpile list of things, like in case anyone didn't know, they're doing new end cards now on YouTube videos. That's in like a weird beta testing. I have some tips for teleprompters, After Effects, and rocket jump, and just a whole list of things I've been accruing. So it won't just be VidCon, it will also be like lessons learned.
Yay.
So we'll see you guys then.
Useful tools. Yay. Awesome.
So thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. We really had a great time.
Yeah, I hope it was helpful. It was really fun for me.
Awesome.
So bye, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Bye.
Cool.